The competition on this trip is between Peter and me. He was eating in my restaurant and I suggested that he came out here because one of his mates said the menu had become a bit staid. So I said, well, we'll go out to the Greek islands, look around a few restaurants, pick up some recipes, bring them back. I suppose I'm getting back to my roots on this trip in a way. My father's Greek, my mother's Welsh. So I'm getting back to half my roots anyway, with a boat that came from Wales, the Menai Lady, coming from the Menai Straits. And my grandma came from Llangefni on Anglesey, and she's looking over me in the saloon here. We're doing a little bit of history in the show, visiting sites and trying to explain why we think that's Homer's palace or that isn't Homer's palace. And we're not talking about The Simpsons. So there's a bit of history, a bit of food, winemaking, olive oil pressing, nautical stuff, lots of breakdowns, anchors getting caught, anchors on top of anchors. It's a disaster zone sometimes.
Comedy?
I think the comedy comes naturally with, without trying too hard. The whole situation is quite comic. Welcome to the Ionian, everyone. I'm Dimitri Kissoff.
Capitano!
Come on a journey of exploration with Peter, Andre and I as we travel these islands in search of some exciting new recipes for my restaurant.
This is huge!
And to make it a little more interesting, we're going to compete against each other to see who found the dish that's the most delish.
This dish flies out. It's really, really popular here. Opa.
Everybody loves a barbie, and that's why we're going to win. Champion.
One of these, two of these, one of these, one of these, a big donut, yeah?
And for some help, we brought along Charlotte, our girl Friday. She'll hunt down the chefs extraordinaire and find our judges who'll pick the winner each week.
Guys, enjoy. Yassas. Onion pie.
Oh, Fiskardo.
Yes. Lobster.
Be no point travelling all this way if we didn't throw in just a little fun.
Not the best thing to do when you're scared of heights, is it?
Run! And Peter, let's not forget all the history and culture throughout these islands, eh?
This, according to the plaque, is an old Roman tomb.
And this underground sulphur spring allegedly cured Homer. This ancient church commemorates the man who gave his name to Fiskardo.
I want to do something special for my wife, Emily.
Yasu. So come join us for a fun-filled Odyssey.
And we'll see you there.
All right, lovely.
Thank you guys very much. There you go. Nice
Thank
to meet
you.
you. Hello and welcome to my Greek Odyssey. Now you'd think a Greek Odyssey should start in Greece, right? Not mine. Mine starts right here in Manchester at my favourite restaurant. I was here a few months back doing a gig, I popped in for something to eat, and that's where the adventure began. Now, I'm of Greek descent and I love getting back to my roots, but up until this point, eating in a Greek restaurant was as far as it got. Here he is. Come here, you.
Peter, what are you doing here?
How are you? Hey, c'est Gala.
Καλά, ευχαριστώ.
This is Dimitri, the owner, and a very, very, very dear and old friend of mine.
Hey, paleo,
That's only a little bit. Hey, how are you?
I'm good, what are you doing here?
Well, I just thought I'd come and say hello and teach the old boy how to cook.
No chance.
Now look, every adventure has to start somewhere, but our adventure starts right here right now. Flashback. I love speaking Greek and I love Greek food, but it's not just about the food, it's about the culture, it's about family. Yeah, it's a sense of belonging. I come here all the time, but I don't have the heart to tell Dimitri his menu is old. So old. I don't think he's changed it since Odysseus was a little boy. That's how old it
What?
is. Hey.
I'll have you know, our menu is regularly updated. Every year, I go off on my boat, Menai Lady, around the Greek islands, researching culinary delights, while you're doing singing and famous things like that. Yeah, while you're doing that, I'm working.
You're trying to tell me that travelling around on a boat, eating and drinking is work. It's not work. I'm sorry.
I'd like to see you try it. Come on, put your money where your mouth is.
What, travelling the islands, eating and drinking
Yes.
in the sun?
Yes.
It's a no-brainer. I'm in. 100% I'm in.
Can I come?
No. What about all your gigs?
Yeah, well, don't worry about that. Look, I have this desire to get back to my roots. You're offering me a challenge, I'm in.
So it's settled then.
It's settled.
Come on, I'll even wash the boat. I'll work my way up. I'll make the beds, I'll make the tea. I'll even man the bilge pumps.
The thing is, we don't want to skivvy. It's not respectful, is it?
Yes. You can come. But I'm the captain. What I say goes.
Okay, looks like you're in.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Right, here's the challenge. We sail round the Ionian Sea, stopping at various places of interest, ports of call. At each one, both you and I have to pick a local Greek dish. Then Charlotte can invite some tourists or locals to judge who's picked the best dish, you or me.
So basically, a week full of fun, surf, sun, food,
And wine.
and wine.
Okay, so it'll be a competition. I'll keep the scoreboard, and whoever loses has to walk the plank. It'll be a...
Greek
Odyssey.
I get it.
Captain's log. These are the voyages of the good ship Menai Lady on its 6-week mission to discover new culinary delights, ancient civilizations, to have wild adventures, and a jolly good time. Left Cyprus avoiding storms and sea monsters, arriving 7 days later at Nidri on the Greek island of Lefkada, where Menai Lady filled up with fuel and I filled up with wine. Joined by Charlotte, the new cabin boy, girl. From Nidri sailed to Kefalonia and were comfortably settled in on the sheltered quay at Fiskardo, where Peter had arranged to join us. He's late.
Hang on. You were early. I had to fly into Zante, which is an island to the south, then take a 50-mile fast trip just to get here. Probably one of the worst and most uncomfortable rides in my life. I was just happy to arrive in one piece, I can assure you. Look at this. Beautiful. So here I was on a 6-week trip around the Ionian Islands in the company of a mad restaurant owner and an even madder cabin girl. Take us in, skipper. This was my first sight of the Menai Lady, Dimitri's grand old boat, and my new home. It did look very old, actually. Sorry, Dimitri. Give me a minute, I'll come up. But then they wouldn't let her sail if she wasn't seaworthy. Would they?
Welcome on board.
How are you, my friend?
I'm all right. All that time. Good to see you.
Oh, mate, you too. Probably time to stow the bags and for something to steady the nerves.
Afternoon, gentlemen.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Dimitri.
How are you?
good,
Thank
how
you
are
so much, by the way. Cheers, my friend. Cheers. So Charlotte had indeed wheedled her way onto the trip. Everyone saw her in Manchester. Now she'd said she'd be our cabin boy, but I had a suspicion mutiny was in the air.
What don't you guys have me doing? I'm cleaning the windows, scrubbing the deck.
Come on.
Name it and I do it.
No way.
The cabin boy was beginning to sound more like an admiral.
Right, I know what I'm doing today, boys. Do you?
Well,
I'm going to go into the restaurant, picking out the food, what I think's appropriate. Pete, you know what you're doing?
coffee?
Dimitri?
Mine's a large one.
Look, we don't mean you have to do it, but can it just be a double?
And quickly.
Honestly, I don't know what's wrong.
The youth today.
It just... Wait till they get to our age and they'll
Well,
understand.
my age, Peter, come on.
One of the many tasks Charlotte had agreed to do as consideration for being allowed on the trip was to research the local restaurants. She had to find a couple of signature dishes, one for each of us, that would be good enough to make the menu in Dimitri's restaurants. Not an easy task, as here in Fiskardo, there's almost too much choice. For Dimitri, Charlotte chose something a bit nouvelle cuisine. A bit more risky, I'd say, as the restaurant had only recently been taken over. Although Thomas, the new young chef, was reportedly coming up with some innovative, contemporary dishes. Good luck with that one, Dimitri. So, while Charlotte took time out of her labours, we headed off to uncover some local history. And believe me, this place has more than its fair share, including earthquakes.
The town of Fiskardo escaped most of the destruction of the 1953 earthquake, which destroyed nearly all the buildings on the rest of the island. So this is a perfect example, and so well preserved, of 19th century Italianate architecture.
Going back much further, mythology tells us the island is named after a young Athenian, Kephalos, who came here and defeated the inhabitants, who were called Taffies. No, not Welshmen. Since then, the island has been governed by Turks, Venetians, French, Russians, Germans, and the British.
And here we are. This ancient church somehow commemorates the man who gave his name to Fiskardo, a Norman warlord fighting Byzantium in western Greece. Sadly, he and his men never left here. They died of some mysterious fever.
Hopefully not caused by Peter's cooking. Robert Guiscard's demise in 1085 came quite late in the history of buildings occupying this site, the earliest being traced back to the 5th century BC, when the town was known as Panamos.
But now it's time for cooking. Okay, how do we start?
First, we put the rice to boil.
Meanwhile, whilst the other two were making giant leaps for mankind, I joined Thomas to get started on our own dish for tonight, stuffed squid. Quite complicated, but very unusual. I'm liking the sound of it.
This one, it's a marjoram
Yes?
with some dill, some thyme,
Yeah.
and some
Mint.
mint, salt, oregano, and
And
pepper.
pepper, okay.
I've got all the herbs.
And next?
It's time for the tentacles.
Ah, the tentacles, the legs of the calamari. Okay. Beautiful mixture of stuff to go inside the squid.
Ouzo and wine. It's a cocktail.
Well, flaming hell, eh? And you let it reduce, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
I think it is going to be very nice. Okay.
So into the stuffing goes rice and the tentacles, herbs, and all cooked with ouzo. Brilliant.
And now we're going to stuff it.
Yeah.
Stuffing the calamari, folks.
Use my hands because it's difficult with the spoon. So I'm gonna.
The mixture that's in here is fantastic.
You want to taste it? So if,
We take one.
yeah.
Oh. Okay, so Thomas is now taking the calamari and going to shallow fry the calamari. Don't make the mistake that some people do about calamari and calimera. Calimera means good morning. Calamari means squid. So don't go into your hotel room of a morning and go, squid, everyone. The wings are about to take off, it looks.
Actually, I think it's gonna fly.
Yeah, I think so. It looks like a flying fish, doesn't it?
Yeah. We have to turn it over all the time.
I think we're going to win this one.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, onto the grill. To do the next bit.
So the stuffed squid is grilled for just a few minutes and then it's deftly sliced, being careful not to let the rice squeeze out.
It's all sliced up now and it looks fantastic. The only thing to do now is the presentation.
We're gonna do the prawns, potatoes, and rosemary and thyme.
Sounds great. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
This evening we're having the taste-off on the back of the Menai Lady, so there's a small matter of setting up the table. So in tonight's taste-off, it's Dimitri's stuffed calamari prepared by Thomas from the captain's cabin versus my lobster with noodles prepared by Tassia.
Come on board. Hello, how are you? That's a relief. It looks like my tasters are turning up. I give each of them 2 tickets, 1 for each dish. And later they will have to put the one for their favourite into my magic bucket. The winner between Dimitri and Peter, scoring 2 points, will be the dish with the most tickets. Of course, if they get the same number of tickets each, it's a draw, and they get 1 point each. Yeah.
Very good.
Is it really nice? Do you like it?
Our first taste-off, and obviously I'm going to win this. The elegant simplicity of my lobster is going to win hands down over, well, I have to say it, Dimitri's overcomplicated squid. It's obvious, really.
I just hate to see a grown man cry. It ain't just my squid that's stuffed. Okay, maybe Peter bribed the judges. Maybe he's won the girls round with his warmth and charm.
Is that traditionally Greek then? Very to my taste it is.
Ah, she's loving mine. Lobster will always win over squid. Obvious.
No, he prefers the squid. It's a done deal.
Has everyone tried both dishes? Yeah, and you made your final verdict.
Well, no doubt about it, the tasters tucked in with gusto and seemed to be enjoying themselves. Maybe the free wine had something to do with it. Time to get them to put the tickets for their favourites into Charlotte's magic bucket. I've no idea why it's magic, but it definitely is a bucket.
Hang on, the first one is lobster.
I'm in the lead.
Okay.
Come on.
And the second is... Good morning.
Oh, squid.
1-1.
The third one, ladies and gentlemen, is what did you say? Good night.
It's good night to him,
Squid.
and it's hello from me. Nearly.
2-1 to Dimitri.
The fourth one, ladies and gentlemen, is... Oh!
The fifth one, ladies and gentlemen, is...
Oh, no, man.
Forget the fifth one. The sixth one, ladies and gentlemen.
We want the fifth.
You want the fifth?
Yes.
I can't see it. I'll go to the sixth.
3-2 to Dimitri.
Finally, Jay. There we go.
Dimitri wins.
Peter, thank you.
Mine was better. Yeah. You know what? Well deserved.
Charisopoli.
I'm leaving.
No, come back! Come back!
Well, actually, to
Goodbye.
be fair, you deserve it because that does look fantastic.
It's beautiful looking, isn't it?
So thank you very much, everybody. Next time, just look at me for cues, okay? I'll direct you which way to go.
You can look at him for anything you want. And if you want a winner, it's me.
And for the two of you that chose lobster, thank you very much. But the rest of you, get off our... Well, it's actually his boat. It's actually his boat, so I can't even kick you off.
So, after our first round, with 2 points for a win, Dimitri's in the lead thanks to Thomas's stuffed squid. I've got to admit, though, thinking back, you did deserve to go into the lead. I reckon you were squids in. Why do I bother?
I liked it.
Thank you, my darling. The thing is, though, I loved going back there. I loved, being in Greece, seeing the people, doing the cave jumping. You didn't do the cave jumping, did you?
No, I did not. I'm not designed for rapid descents.
That's not true. You know what I loved the most, though, is speaking Greek. I felt like I was being a kid again. And the people were warm and they were lovely. The only thing is, I think sometimes we rush things and we don't just sort of step back and take a moment and enjoy it.
Hear, hear.
I must say I love Fiskardo. And you two weren't such a bad crew.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Captain.
Now, what happened after Fiskardo?
To find out, watch the next episode. You'll join us in the quaint little harbour of Chione on the island of Ithaca. the island that was reputedly Odysseus' departure point as he set off on the original Odyssey, chronicled by Homer, who also has strong connections here. Charlotte acquires a bike which speeds her travels around the town.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, you?
And I make a ring for my beloved. Our family is Greek, and I've never learnt something like this, and I'm getting to learn it on one of the Greek islands. For me, this is very special.
It's traditional, very traditional.
Absolutely.
The dishes for the taste-off couldn't be more different. Will I catch up on Dimitri's early lead? Well, of course I will. Won't I? Join us next time and find out. We don't just sit there anymore and just look up at the stars. If you think everyone's looking down at their phones, everyone's looking down, nobody's looking up. And when you look up there, it's just... But you need a night like this to do it.
Oh, yeah. And a dark place, you know, where there isn't a huge city with lights everywhere flooding in. But it is beautiful.
It's a complete piece here, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe time for bed?
We've only just met, Dimitri. But I'll tell you what, it is probably time. I'm absolutely shattered.
I would think so. You should have a good rest.